Today we are going to be working on my specialized Alice Epic Carbon. I just picked this up off of Marketplace for $130. It is a 1990s frame. It has a bunch of old parts of the Shimano 105 group set. I'm going to be taking all the parts from my Chanelli road bike that I picked up for $75 off of Marketplace. It has a full Dura-Ace group set on it, 2x in the front. I think it's a 7 or 8 in the back. So I'm going to be retro-modding this frame. So all the parts on this right now are going to be taken off. Now I'm going to be putting all the newer, I guess it's around 2009, around like the late 2000s, early 2010s group set on this 1990s frame. It has an aluminum fork with the steel lugs and carbon fiber down tube, seat tube, top tube, headset tube, and then train stays as well as seat stays. The first step is to disassemble, bring this down to just a frame. So let's get to it. The first step I'm going to start with is take apart this crane stem. Crane stem has a bolt that goes through, and it pretty much has a wedge that as you tighten the bolt, it wedges inside the fork tube. It's gonna be 6 millimeters on the top. Okay, sometimes you gotta give it a little wiggle, but if it doesn't come out on just wiggling it, you gotta tap on this top bolt to loosen out that wedge. See, just like that. And it should slide out. So there's the wedge mechanism. As you tighten the bolt, it goes in, and it wedges between. Those are the bars done. We got the bars, crane stem, and levers off. I have decided I do not want to take apart the fork because it's fairly smooth. I don't really know how old this bike frame is, like how long it hasn't been like taken apart, but it feels pretty okay up there. So I'm just gonna keep all this together, just take off the accessories. So we're gonna be taking off the front brake right now. So to do the front brake, it's just a bolt that goes through the back that screws into the front brake lever, or the front brake caliper, and you should just be able to loosen that up all the way. It's a through bolt, so it goes all the way through. You can see it extracting from the front. Here we go. Look at all that grime behind the brake, just loads of, like, I guess tire wear and just all kinds of just grease and gunk. I can't wait to clean that up. It's gonna look shiny, brand new again. The rest of the fork looks good, but it could use a good wash for sure. We're on to the shifters, the down tube shifters. I have no idea how to take these off, so you're gonna learn with me. It looks like there's a selection between like a gearing type shift, like it jumps between the gears, and a friction shift, so you can just feel once you're in a gear or not. Yeah, I'm not too sure about how to take these off. I'm assuming it's just a screw holding it in, maybe a flathead. Let's try the flathead first. So it should just be on there. Yeah, I feel it loosening already. That wasn't too difficult. My plan is to get cable stops so I can run cables up to my lever shifters rather than using a down tube shifter. So cable stops will go right there. Let's get this other side off. Boom. Back brake, similar to the front. It's just a bolt on the back here. You loosen and it extracts. So it looks like the bridge between that's holding this brake mount is aluminum as well. If I can get this out. Okay, so now that that's out, we got the aluminum. Again, it has a lot of crud on there. That'll look nice and shiny when I'm done with it. So to get the group set off, I'm assuming we're gonna start with the chain, and you have to, I'm not sure if there's a quick link. So let's go through and see. It's probably not gonna have a quick link just from the age. It doesn't look like it, so we're just gonna drive this out with the chain tool. So one mistake a lot of people do is they drive out this pin all the way, and once this pin is separated from the chain, you can't put it back in. The heads of them are made so you can't put it back in, or else it was gonna bend this chain and the whole link is gonna be messed up. So make sure to leave that how it looks right here, kind of like almost all the way driven out, but it allows you to put it back together and drive it in just like normal, and it's way easier. Chain off. Taking off the derailleur is easy. It's just one bolt connecting it to the derailleur hanger. I believe it's a 4 or 5 millimeter Allen. It's pretty standard. It's a 5 millimeter. It's pretty standard for group or derailleurs. So let's just fully take this off. And that was easy. After taking off the rear derailleur, let's go ahead and take off this front one. I believe it's the same process. It's just wrapped around the seat tube, and you just loosen. Hopefully everything under here looks fine. The carbon underneath. Ooh, a lot of crud. So when we get that cleaned off, a lot of corrosion it looks like. Let's hope for the best on that. It's gonna be covered up by the other derailleur hanger anyways, so not the end of the world. Alright, and then onto the bottom bracket is the last thing. Generally with these bottom brackets you have a end cap. I guess you can just plop off, and a bolt that presses it on there. It presses it onto a spindle that's integrated into the bottom bracket. So we're going to need this is a bolt, so we won't need a bottom bracket or a crank arm removal until we get this bolt off. So I think you will get a socket for this guy. So we have this 14 to 15 millimeter socket. I identified it's a 14 mil, so let's use our force and take this off. Okay, it's a good sign it wasn't on there too much. It looked rusty, so I was kind of worried. Yeah. Let's get this other arm off. It's gonna be the same process. Alright, there's that. Boom. Again, it's rusty. Alright, on to removing the crank arms. The bearings are kind of shot. Like, they roll fine, but it's really loud. Alright. Yo, those roll like really nice. Okay, anyways, on to removing the crank arms. So you're gonna need a crank arm remover. Depending on what crank arm / bottom bracket you have, you need to take off this a little bit. This is for, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like kind of a nicer bottom bracket style. But this one is just your standard run-of-the-mill square press fit crank arm bottom bracket. I learned that the hard way because I used this on just like one of the standard bottom brackets that come on like the lower end bikes, and completely just stripped the threads. It was not a good time. I had to like jigsaw it off. It was too much. I will not do it again. Looks like really cruddy. Let's hope this goes in. It should just thread on. I'm not sure. Righty-tighty, yeah. Make sure it's all the way threaded in, or you'll risk stripping. You do not want to strip the threads, or you're not going to have a fun time getting off the crank arm. Yeah, you just gotta crank. Just gotta really push this thing off there. This is a harder one for sure. It's getting easier though, so I'm not stripping anything. There we go. Oops. Nice. Onto the other side. So this is going to be the same exact process. Nice. So that's the left crank arm out. So the last part I am going to be removing is the bottom bracket. I'm not too familiar with this one. I'm hoping that it's the same, kind of just twist off the cap, twist this off. It should just come out, hopefully. I don't have the tool for that. Let's see what I can use. That might have been tightening it. Uh-oh. Do I have to get this? We got it. Let's go. That is clean. That's definitely not been on there the whole time this frame has been alive. Well, maybe. I don't know. This is not a normal bottom bracket I'm used to. It just has open ball bearings. Let's get this other side off, clean that inside, and then we'll just be done with the frame, and then we'll be able to clean it. I'm just gonna do this the same way because it has little platforms for me to set my... Luckily, I was able to get this off after some strength being exerted. This thing was on there. That's really gross. I'm hoping this is a BSA. I think it's British Standard Assembly or something. I'm hoping it's just standardized threading. 78 to some 84, I think, millimeter. I'm having problems with my bottom bracket on my Redline Conquest. It's super loud. I think it's just loose, but I'm not sure. I have to figure that out next. And with that, that is the... So I disassembled the entire bike. It's just the frame. So the next step is to clean it and make it new again. So I'm just gonna do that with a degreaser and something else. I don't know. I'll figure it out. When I was taking the bottom bracket out, that's what happened. I pinched my fingers right here. It's feeling better. But now to wash the bike frame and get the corrosion off and make
it look nice. The frame is all clean. And we are gonna start assembling. We're gonna be taking off tires. They look new, or they look old, but they're barely used. Well, the stem just came off the inner tube. That's the first time that's happened. I don't know what. I don't know how that happened. Probably because of my fault, but... Alright, first step, seat post. So, I like this seat post. I think it's aluminum and it matches, so I think I'm going to stick with it. This is a profile design crane to regular stem adapter. So, if you have a bike that has a crane stem, you can buy this adapter and you can use a regular, more modern stem on your older bike. I love these things. I've had this is like a lifesaver when it comes to like restoring old bikes. It's because it just makes it look so clean. So yeah, let's put the stem on this, get that on there. You got the stem on there? Now let's put it in. Boom. There's the stem. and profile design adapter. It looks super slick. We're gonna get this bottom bracket put in. It's kind of worn down, so hopefully that doesn't ruin it. So yeah, it tells you which way to tighten it, which side is which. And this middle piece is a little protector, just in case debris gets in your like tube and then falls down to your bottom bracket. It won't mess up the seize. It won't seize the bottom bracket spindle like in there. It will make it smooth and continuously smooth for a while. I was worried that this bottom bracket wouldn't work on these threads, but I think it will. I think we're getting lucky. So this bottom bracket, it was from the 1990s, and this bottom bracket I'm putting in is from like the late 2000s. So that's why I'm not doing the other side. Nice. So I'm putting on this left side. You're gonna get some sort of push cap to make it go on there tight, and then you're gonna want to do it directly 180 degrees with the right pedal or right crank arm. Next, press fit on there. You don't want to do it too tight, because then you'll squeeze the bottom bracket bearings and it will have a lot of resistance in there. So just find the right pressure, not too tight. Alright, and then in this case there's two pinch bolts that you'll need to pinch together, and then it will stay on there nice and tight. So we're gonna be putting on the rear brake. It's kind of like tight to get in there. Kind of have to like screw it. Now we're gonna be putting on the front brake mount. Same exact process as the rear. Through axle and then tighten it deeper. And again, you want to make sure it's straight on there. I think that's perfect right there. So now that's on there. That's pretty easy. And I'll show you how to like tune the derailleur so it works good shift like with the cassette. We're going to be installing brake pads So it says forward that way, so you want it pointed that way for whichever direction the wheel is rotating. And then you just tighten this little tiny 2.5 millimeter Allen, and it's on there. Boom. Those are good. So I've never actually done this. I've never actually like tried to position the front derailleur on a road bike before, so this is gonna be new. It's gonna have to hang a little higher than the Cellini. So this mount, it's replaceable, so I don't have to get a whole new derailleur. You can just get this this frame bit, because I'm gonna have to get a new one because it's like corroded and cracked. So I don't know how long that's gonna last like that. So I'm gonna order a new one and get rid of this old one. We're gonna be installing these carbon fiber Bontrager bottom mounts. It's 2 volts each. Where you're gonna be putting on the wheels.
So the front axle is a little bit shorter, so you'll want to get the shorter spindle. Make sure it's directed the right way, the tire. And we're going to put these quick releases on the right side. It's because I want them both on the same side, and I don't like putting my lever on the side of my derailleur. Rear wheel. Put the axle through before you put it on the rim or on the bike.
Let's go ahead and get the bars on. It won't work like this because it's flattened out right here. So in this case, we're gonna have to take these all the way out. It doesn't matter when you're just like finger tightening on the bolts, but you do not want to do this pattern that I'm putting it on when you're tightening it, like torquing it down to spec. I'm gonna do a star pattern. So start on one corner, go across, start down here, and then go across. That just disperses out the tension between the bolts and allows you not to break your stem or your bars. This is the last round that I'm going to tighten it because it's on there. Alright, nice. The bars are on there. So let's get the levers. I'm not going to do bar tape yet. Let's get those levers on there. Now we're going to do this side, do the same thing. So those are the levers. Those are just rough positions, but
Hey guys, we got a Amazon package with the rest of these parts for this bike that I need to get it done build. So I got a 25mm tire for the rear because I was having that rubbing issue, and the rubbing issue was coming from the chainstay. So the tire was, the chainstay was too close together and the tire was rubbing. So I figured 2mm of clearance going or downgrading to the 25mm would for sure do it. It would for sure fit and rotate through. So it's gonna be kind of a weird setup. We have 28mm on the front, 25 on the back, but they're the same tire. This is the front derailleur hanger. The one I had, the diameter was too big, so it wouldn't fit on this one because it was from a different frame. These are the cable stops. So they just bolt on right on these down tube shifter mounts, but the shifters, the old shifters that I'm no longer using, are gonna be replaced with these cable stops. And then cable stop. Has a little stop in there. Hopefully the correct shifter hoods. So I got replacement hoods because those were the ones that came on it were really kind of like just really worn. So new, old, they look like they'll fit the same. Solaire's gonna be joining us for the unboxing, and if she wants to stay there for this, or like when I put these parts on, then let's do it.
onto the rear tire. I'm not gonna film this because I've already done this before. We got the cables routed. All I need to do is get electrical tape and tape them down to the bar. Yeah, they should look like something like that. That from the front. Now I'm gonna do the gearing cables.